Like and subscribe on the way in the door, my people. I hope you all are having a truly fantastic day today. So today we're going to be talking about Shaquille O'Neal made a comment basically saying that if super teams were accepted back in his playing days, he would have just went and joined Mike or some other superstar. And they were discussing this on Gil's Arena. You know, high-profile member of the CFL. And, of course, Gilbert Arenas' take on it was basically saying, Shaq, well, you couldn't have joined Mike even if you want to. So, you know, basically saying he's not telling the whole truth or whatever. He couldn't have joined Mike if he wanted to because the salary cap wouldn't have allowed, which to me, when Gilbert Arenas does stuff like that, it's like you're missing the whole point of it. But I want to make this video because it seems like a lot of these, well, I understand the younger generation because, again, you know, you want to grow up thinking that the generation of basketball you witnessed was the best. So for the younger generation, I understand that. But what I really can't understand is some of the older generation, like people my age and older, who try to cap for the current generation basically by saying that super teams weren't anything new, or they try to classify the fact that Karl Malone played on the Lakers in his old age, that makes for a super team when obviously Karl Malone was past his prime. And I think the biggest thing that they're missing is that a lot of them like to say this, well, what's the difference between if GM makes a super team and a player? Well, everything. I think a lot of them is missing the point that choice is the point. You having the choice is the point. And it makes a huge difference. The choice determines your character. The choice determines whether you're going to take the easy way or you want to work for what you get. Now, of course, we live in a generation where everyone wants to take the easy way. We live in a generation where scamming is looked upon as a good thing, and you know, the easiest route you can take, people deem that as acceptable. So yeah, Shaq's point is that it wasn't acceptable back then. It wasn't acceptable. Back then, it was about if you were a superstar, then you were responsible for finding a way to carry your team to the championship. And then, you know, Gilbert Arenas made a big deal about, well, why didn't he do that in Orlando? You know, but regardless, that's really not the point because he went to the Lakers, who did not have a dominant superstar at the time. And he was a superstar before Kobe, which makes it more understandable that him and Kobe would have some beef simply because Kobe was an alpha and Kobe wanted to do the same thing. Kobe wanted to be the superstar responsible for carrying a franchise to championship. So it makes sense that in that climate, that when that is what was expected of a superstar, that two superstars like that would have clashed. But now let's talk about if Shaq had joined Michael Jordan. If Shaq had joined Michael Jordan, I don't even think you could put on a number on the amount of championships Shaq would have right now, and especially Michael Jordan, because I feel like Michael Jordan would have had that first three-peat before Shaq even joined. But so here's the difference, what I think would be between Shaq playing with Kobe and Shaq playing with Mike. First of all, Shaq already had a respect for Mike. Shaq already had an admiration for Mike. Michael Jordan was already known as the GOAT, so Shaq would have been coming to the team already knowing that he is not number one. That's the first thing. Second thing, Gilbert Arenas, like I said, was basically saying that Shaq wouldn't be able to play on the Bulls because the salary cap wouldn't allow it, because Shaq was chasing as much money as possible. Well, Gilbert Arenas, you don't know. Shaq may have been willing to take a much less salary to know that he's about to gain a bunch of championships. So I think that was a possibility. So here's the thing. Michael Jordan is 6-0 without a dominant big man. Without a dominant big man. You know, he's had Cartwright and Stacey King and Luke Longley and Will Perdue. And, you know, Chicago has never had a great center or power forward for that matter. So the fact that Michael Jordan is 6-0 with him and Scottie Pippen being the two main guys on the team, again, defying the conventional wisdom, which is you can't build a championship team around a two guard or around a little man, period. So for him to be 6-0 doing that is amazing. And it is even more amazing because for those of you who want to go research this yourself, I've done another video on this a while ago. But with the exception of Detroit Pistons, but of course you got to count that they were playing football. But with the exception of Detroit Pistons, it was always big men winning before Michael Jordan. When he retired after 93, who won? The Houston Rockets, a big man. And when he retired after 98, who won in 99? And who continued to win? Teams with big men. After 98, you had San Antonio who won it. Then you had the Shaq and Kobe three-peat that happened. And pretty much it's been all big man winning since, with just a couple of exceptions. So just imagine if Michael Jordan actually had Shaq on his team. Can you imagine the amount of championships they would have won with Michael Jordan and Shaq together? I mean, first of all, teams would be so consumed with Shaq that Michael Jordan, I mean, really it's an impossible situation if you think about it. Because you can't be overly consumed with Shaq because of Michael Jordan, and you can't be overly consumed with Michael Jordan because of Shaq. I mean, it really would be a no-win situation for every other team. I mean, if Shaq had joined the Bulls and Michael Jordan didn't retire after 98, I could easily see them running championships at least into 2003. Because again, Jordan was only rusty coming back to the Wizards because he hadn't been playing basketball. He hadn't been staying in shape, preparing to come back to play basketball. Like he hadn't intended to come back and play basketball. But if he had been playing straight through that time, I could see them easily running championships through 2003, 2004 possibly. So yeah, that would have been something totally ridiculous. Fanboys, which is why superstars shouldn't join other superstars. I mean, that's really the superstars. Again, your competition is the other superstars in the league. As a superstar, you're supposed to be proving that you are capable of carrying a franchise to the championship through not only your skills as a basketball player, but through your skills as a leader. And if you're not winning championships, to me, that means you're lacking in one or the other. Again, for people who didn't win championships against Michael Jordan, I feel like Charles Barkley. You know, to me, is you were either lacking in skills, leadership, or both, compared to Michael Jordan. But anyway, we gonna hold up here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. What do you think would have been the outcome if Shaquille O'Neal was playing alongside Michael Jordan? How many championships do you think Michael Jordan would have? How many do you think Shaquille O'Neal would have? Because obviously, like I said, that first three-peat would have came before Shaquille O'Neal. But, you know, how many do you think they would have won together? But anyway, let me know what you guys think. You all have a truly fantastic day, and I'll see you next time. All right.